You should have your priorities in check all the time. Do not wait for someone to give them to you, and don't wait for someone to take them away from you. When someone asks you, what are your three priorities, Karaleigh, you should be able to mouth them off really fast. Mine is my time, my money, and my children. Those are my three priorities,
I
right?
love
It
that.
should be
That's
God,
amazing.
family, and you. You should know it right off the bat. If you don't have that in check, if that's not something that's always constantly in the back of your mind, then the world will impede on all of them. They will take your priorities, they will take your time, they will take your money, they will take time away from your children because you don't know what you need. You don't know what you want. You don't have it in. It is you. You are responsible for the journey that has been given to you. The time has been given to everybody. We all have the same measure of it. But what you do with it is up to you. So keep your values close to your heart. Know your priorities, and most of all, know your worth.
There are times when life just brings you down, 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 down to the ground. And it's hard when you can't see the light, 'cause things don't look so bright. So now it's time to reframe and retrain your brain. It's time to look for the good. You know that you should. Why don't you join me? 'Cause I'm seeking sunshine, I'm seeking sunshine, I'm seeking sunshine. Oh, 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 I'm seeking sunshine, I'm seeking sunshine, I'm seeking sunshine, I'm seeking sunshine.
I'm Karaleigh Garrison, a motivational speaker, singer, and songwriter, and your host of the Seeking Sunshine podcast, where we find the positive in the trials of life. This show is all about flipping the script on the way that we see the world around us and what's happening to us. It's about getting rid of the negative mindset that we have been embracing for so long and finding the beauty in everything around us, even as our world seems to be crumbling. It's about finding our power and taking it back. Our power lies in our perspective. When you change your perspective, you gain control. When you choose to see the cup as half full instead of half empty, you can change your entire reality. Find the sunshine. I promise you it's there, and I'm here to hold your hand and help you find it. Welcome to Seeking Sunshine. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Seeking Sunshine podcast. I'm so happy that I can talk to you today. I'm a little bit, maybe less, and I don't know, I'm still enthusiastic, but I'm a little bit less. I don't even know what the word is. I've been sick for the last few days, and my voice is just starting to come back. It's not really that my voice was all the way gone, it's just that it kind of hurts to talk, so I'm gonna try to make this brief, although I'm not very good at that, let's be honest here. And today's episode is one that I have a really hard time shutting up about because it deserves to be screamed from the rooftops. This episode is so flippin' amazing. Like, I'm so excited to share it with you, but that's why I'm talking a little bit quieter than usual, is because dang it, my throat still hurts a lot. So anyways, today's episode has the seriously incredible Kendria Johnson, and you are going to love this episode so much. I want to listen to it on repeat because her energy is incredible. Her vibe is through the roof. She's everything. Like, she's so great. So Kendria is an author, a teacher, a coach, and she is so superhuman. She's overcome the unthinkable. She had a child at 14. She went through years of burnout as a teacher that even led to hospitalization, and she moved across the world. She learned how to be her own advocate, and now she teaches other teachers and administrators how to do the same. This is an episode that is going to change your whole life. She teaches you how to stand up for yourself, and it's just incredible. Just to listen to her words is gold. There's so much in here. So without any further ado, welcome, Kendria Johnson. Hi, Kendria. Thank you so much for coming on to the Seeking Sunshine podcast today.
Well, hello, Karaleigh. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I am great. I'm so excited to have you. So, I
Mm,
want to hear all about your journey. I know it's been a
okay.
really incredible one. And I was just hoping you would tell us, like, start from the beginning as much as you can and like dive in and tell us how you got here.
Cool, cool. Well, yeah, I'll start with the beginning of my career. I'll start there because going all the way back, 48 years, because that's how old I am, would be a long. I don't know if you have a week for that, but So yeah, I'm a teacher during the day, and a teacher coach and mentor and business owner at night. So I have two jobs, but I love both. And I started teaching 22 years ago, and I did not want to be a teacher. I did
Why not?
not want to be a teacher. I absolutely did not. Well, I mean, I wanted to be a corporate trainer. I was like, it was in my head to be in front of a billboard talking, pointing at numbers and saying, we need to get these numbers up. I don't know why that was in my psyche to do. And so I went to college for that. I went to school to study business management. And I kept getting laid off in the corporate world. I would get a job, get laid off, get a job, hate it, get laid off again, and get another job, hate that one. And I was just never really happy. So this
Well,
little
and
voice,
this sounds like some
yeah.
sunshine right there, right? Like you hated your job and then they laid you off, and it's like, well, I guess I don't have to do that job anymore.
No, that was just the universe pushing me in the right direction because I
Yeah.
couldn't keep a job that I couldn't keep a job. And if I did have a job that I like, I just hated it. I just hated it. That was never satisfied. I had that itch, that thing, that yearning.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had one day I had an epiphany. I had gotten laid off again, and it was I got laid off on the day of 9/11. And if it wasn't for that particular convergence of things that happened in one day, I wouldn't have been, contemplating the meaning of life. And why am
Right.
I here again? I'm
Hmm.
young. I should be happy with these jobs that I get. It's moving me to the right direction, and I just was not. And then it was just two conversations always going on in my head. And one was, you should think about teaching. And I'm like, no, I hate being a teacher. I hated it when I was in high school. I hate it now. No, I think you should really think about it. It's something you'd be good at. And that conversation went on for 6 whole years. 6 whole years from high school all the way up until this point. I think teaching should be something you look into. So during my hiatus, my time spending on the couch, I got to know Oprah really, really well. We got to be best friends. And I didn't take very many showers. And my mom would call and she would say, did you look for a job today? I was like, no, because I just didn't want to go back to whatever I just said it was at a crossroads. So I got that job. I got another job, but I didn't take it because the angel on the shoulder won. And it said, I think you should try teaching. So I got up one morning and actually combed my hair and brushed my teeth because I hadn't done that in a while. And I went up the street and I volunteered to be a teacher actually. So they weren't even paying me my first job. My first paid job wasn't even paying. And I absolutely, Karaleigh, fell in love with it.
Oh,
I
yay.
could not wait to get up there every day and teach those babies something new because it was something that about, being able to pour knowledge into young minds and that they wasn't going to get it unless I showed up. And I was excited. So I'd run to work every day. And eventually they hired me full time as a fourth grade language arts teacher. And I loved it. Couldn't
That's
get enough of it.
awesome. And
And
it
I
just
was hooked
goes,
from that point on.
yeah,
Hmm.
it just goes to show like we have all these preconceived notions and it's like
Hmm.
we have to maybe branch out and sometimes we get in our own way, right?
Yeah. Oh, I definitely was in my own way. I was in my own head, listening to all the things that I didn't want to do. And guess what? I was actually right about those things. But it's the passion. It's the passion, the love for the job, and the love for the kids that supersedes all of that. So then, fast forward, after all of that, I decided, to go to get my teaching license. I went back to school, and I got a master's degree in education. And so I was like, I think I'm going to try full time because this was a part time. This was not, it was a full time job, but it was um, private school, which is a lot different. Less money, not great benefits, if any at all. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and get my teaching certificate, my teaching license, and I'm gonna go to public school.
Well,
Yay.
that's so interesting because
Yeah.
okay, so tell me where you're at again. You're in the Middle East?
Yeah, I'm in the Middle East. I'm gonna get to that part of it. Yeah,
Okay,
because
where
that
were
my
you?
journey started in Dallas, Texas, where I was born and raised. I was born and
Oh,
raised
okay.
in
I was
Dallas,
gonna say,
Texas.
I'm in Utah and we actually just moved from San Antonio not too long ago.
Yeah.
But my
So
thought would have been that public school would have been way worse than teaching private. and the private would have been better. So that's really interesting that you
You
said you
get
have to.
paid more to deal with more issues. Yeah, more issues,
Okay.
more problems, more. Yeah, inner city schools have their inner city problems, but you do get paid more, and I got health benefits and dental benefits and all that. So I'm still in Dallas, DISD, which is Dallas, and the biggest school district in the state. And I'm in it for 10 years. And about 10 years into it, I started to not love it anymore. It was starting to get to me because the inner city has its own problems. It has
10
its
years
own
is a
set of
long
problems.
time.
And I was starting to take those problems home, and the stress was starting to wear me out. The stress was starting to take over my personal life, and it was starting to take over my sleep patterns. It was starting to take over my eating habits. It was starting to take over my personal relationships. I was being a grouch pretty much all the time.
Which stress does
And
that though. Isn't that
yeah,
isn't that just the truth of it all? Is like stress will take over your whole entire life
exactly.
if you
Yes.
don't want to get
But
out of
I knew
it.
it was stress, but what I didn't have the words for, the language for, was burnout. And that's what I was doing. I was hitting that wall of burnout where I was burning the candles at both ends, and it was something had to give. And so eventually the stress got the better of me, and it started to manifest itself through health problems. I started to have one health problem after another, and I developed high blood pressure. I was borderline diabetic. I was overweight for the first half of my career. Then I was underweight because I wasn't eating. I would only eat once a day, and I was living off chips and Dr. Pepper, which is not a good diet for teachers. But what can you do when you don't get a break? So I was just starting to really feel the effects of it, and I would cure one thing and then get pills for that, and that would make me sick, and then I have to go back and get cured for the next thing that I had. So I'd have like pneumonia one week, and then the next week I'd have bronchitis and asthma, and then the next week I'd have anemia. I'd be anemic, so I'd be fainting and have these fainting spells all the time, and it was just getting to the point where I was like, okay, something, time out. I need time out. I need time out. I need to take a break from this and figure out where this is coming from and what I need to do. So I took a medical leave. And during the medical leave, I was like, I have to find another school because this is going to kill me. I'm 36 years old. I'm losing my hair. Hair's falling out. My skin would break out in hives all over my body, and so I'd have my teeth would bleed. I had gum issues with my teeth, and I had like not glaucoma, but I had cataracts in both my eyes, so I wasn't really seeing. Every time I
Well,
get a new
and
prescription,
most of those
it
things that
wasn't
you're
working.
most of those things you're describing, so
Mhm.
I actually had gastric sleeve surgery a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
and lost about 100 pounds. And all of those things you're describing are things that happen when you're undernourished, when you're not
Yeah.
getting the nutrients you need. And it's just like so clear of like how
Mhm.
teachers are not treated
Mhm.
appropriately, how they are not treated fairly. They do not have time to eat, a healthy lunch and to have the breaks that are so desperately needed. And it's just like so evident in your story.
Yeah. Yeah. So it got really, really bad. And when you're in it, you don't notice. Well, I knew it was bad, but when you're out of it and you're telling it from, 10 years ago, this is 10 years ago now, 12 years ago, actually. And it was really bad. So that medical leave, I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to do something different. I got to take some time to do me and take care of me. And I started thinking, okay, it's not gonna get any better if I move to another school, another district, because the education system was so jacked that I knew that the stress was everywhere. So I was like, okay, what should I do? And this job popped into my inbox. And the job was for teaching in the Middle East. And I threw it away and said, no, I don't want to do that. I'll just move to another school and figure out something else. And I started filling it out, but I didn't finish. And they called me anyway for an interview. They were like, "We see you teach math and science. We really need math and science teachers over here really, really bad. Can you come to an interview in February?" I said, "You know what? Sure." And I said yes without thinking that I'd actually say yes. So I got the interview, got the job. So this is February. It just all hell broke loose after that. I mean, just my health started to decline. I ended up in the hospital for 5 days because it wasn't getting any better. So going to work every day was just more stress, more strain, more me not taking care of myself, less sleep, my heart palpitations, fainting spells, all the things that happened all at once. And eventually I ended up in the hospital. So after I got out of the hospital, I said, that's it. Yeah, I'm moving. That's it. I'm gonna do something different. So that's just one half of my career story. The other half is I get on a plane, I come to the Middle East, and everybody thinks, okay, well then all of your problems were over, Kendra, weren't they? Everything was great.
Oh,
The sun shines all the
what?
time over here. There's camels
No.
everywhere. It's the land of milk and honey. You're gonna be a teacher in the Middle East and everything's great.
No, that
It
doesn't sound
was
like
not.
that
It
does
just was
not sound like that.
not.
That sounds like
No.
moving is one of the worst things ever. Moving is so hard. And
Yeah.
to move to a completely different country, like it
Hmm.
sounds like one that you were not super familiar with. Like, no, that sounds extremely difficult. And like, yeah, you needed to change your pace, but this was
Yeah.
like, let's blow it all up and
What did I do? What did I do? What did I do?
uh,
What did I do? So I
yeah.
thought that doing all of those things, but you think when you sell everything, you sell your car, you get rid of everything, and then you just take pack 2 bags, and that's all I had was 2 bags into $100, and I came over here, that everything will just automatically fix itself. That was my misconception. It'll all fix itself. The only thing that I had differently over here in the Middle East was time. Had more time to myself. Now that's the one thing they do right. Now the kids are the same. They're still rambunctious. Parents are pretty much the same. They complain about everything. Administration is still the same. Tons of paperwork, lots of stress, lots of pressure. Everything's your fault, so on and so forth. But the difference is the timing is different. I get to go home at a decent time now, and I get home with the time I used to leave work is the time I'm actually at home already. So when I had all that time to myself, I was like, now what do I do? Anxiety was still there. Depression was still kind of kicking in. And then this sense of I'm not doing enough. So let me volunteer for everything took over once again. And that is when I realized that it wasn't the job, it wasn't where I was working, who I was working for. It was me putting way too much pressure on myself to be everything for all people and not being who I needed to be for me. So I did three things during this part of the journey. The first part of the journey was here. I got a psychiatrist. I hired a psychiatrist and I said, because she's going to prescribe me the medicine that I needed to bring to regulate my moods. My moods were all over the place. I'd be crying in the morning, crying at night, crying when I got home, crying when and my moods were not level. So I knew that I needed something to help me with that. So she just prescribed those antidepressants. Then I got a psychologist friend from home. Now the psychologist friend, she's a friend, but she's happens to be a psychologist, was like my accountability partner. So I said, "Can I call you every week so you can hold me accountable for the things that I said I would do?" And she said, "Yes, I will do that." And so I could talk to her for hours at a time when they weren't billable hours, so she was doing it for free. And I could talk to her and say, "Hey, this is not going well. This is not going well at this school." And I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay here for another year or two. Like I said, I had signed a 3-year contract and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And then the third thing I did was I started making lists for myself. I started making achievable goals with the help that I was getting from the outside. I started to do some work from the inside out. Why am I always being picked on to do all of this extra work? Why do people kind of overlook me for promotions and things that I want? Why am I always feeling the pressure and the stress when everybody else seems to be okay with everything? It was because number one, I figured out through all of the work that I was doing that I was a people pleaser, number one. And number two, I had some issues with myself, my value and my worth, my self-worth, because I was attaching myself, my value and my worth to this job. And if I'm good at this job, I'm a good person. And if I'm not good at this job, I must be a terrible person. And if I don't do all these things that they're asking me to do, plus the extra stuff after the job, then I'm not a good teacher. And I had a program myself and been conditioned by the world. No, no, I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
going to take that away from them. I had been conditioned by the system to think that the harder I work, the better teacher I am. And
Oh
that
my
taking care of
gosh.
myself is stupid. Why would you do that? You're supposed to take care of these kids every day. And
Yeah.
so
No,
once I had to defect
yeah, no,
and
you're
stop saying
so
all that, deprogram myself,
you're
things
so
started to
spot
happen.
on. Like the
Mhm,
self-worth issue, like in my opinion, I'm a self-worth coach for or a
mhm,
self-care coach for burnt out moms. And like to me, that self-worth issue underlies everything.
mhm.
It
It
underlies
follows you.
all of the problems in the world, right? Because
But
we
you have to
don't.
do the work to unpack it, to figure that
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yeah, you
It's
really
not,
do.
and that's why self-care has nothing to do with, manis and petties.
Oh
It's
yeah,
about digging deep into your soul to figure out where does this thing come from where I have to make everybody else happy first.
exactly.
And so
Exactly.
once I did that work and I started to journal and meditate and do yoga, because I had all this time on my hands, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was taking naps in the evening time. I didn't know what to do with myself. So once I had all that time to myself, I started to really get back in touch with who I was. And I discovered that love that I used to have for I used to like me. I used to like looking myself in the mirror. I used to like going out and taking myself to dinner. And I had stopped doing all of it. And I got back to that girl that I used to know, and I liked her, and I wanted to get to know her, and I wanted to take care of her. I wanted to make sure she was okay. So once I put some boundaries in place, I started to say no to some things. I started to protect my peace. Once you find peace, you will protect it with everything that you have. And I started to hang out with people who helped me protect my peace and who helped me hold me accountable for, now it's 10 o'clock. You said you were going to go home. That was your bedtime. You said you were going to go home. Yep, that's right. Let me go home. And things like that. And all that work that I was doing, I started to, I'm a journaler. I've always been a writer. This is my second book. I started to write it down, and that journal turned into a workshop because I wanted to help someone who was like me. And that word burnout finally hit my psyche. It started to pop in my head. That's what I was going through. All those symptoms. If there was 10 symptoms, I had 8. That's me. All those were me. So then I wanted to help someone else do that. I wanted to get them out of that rut. And so many teachers are leaving the profession because they were where I was. And so I wondered how many teachers could I help that were like me stay if they just did tweak some things, get in touch with some things, and maybe talk to some things, talked out a few of their issues and peel back the layers. I wonder, could they be where I am? And that became my mission. So that workshop turned into a masterclass, and masterclass turned into a book, Teacher of the Year, and then that turned into more workshops, and that turned into just podcast after podcast, interview after interview, and now it's going to be uh, I've signed on to be a TV producer, so I have my own TV show.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
that is my career journey. It's just a little bit about my career journey. And there's, of course, the whole journey is chronicled here in the book where the 6 steps that I went through. I teach other teachers how to go through those steps, and I walk them through it, and then I coach them through it after the workshop. So it's not just a workshop. We try to get you in our coaching program as well, so you can get the one-to-ones that you need to get. Again, I became the solution that I needed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what why coaching is so amazing. So tell
Mm-hmm.
us more about your book. It's called your first book. So you have 2, right? So the first one's
I
called
have to.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have 2. So the first one's Teacher of the Year. Can you give us like
Yeah.
a brief look at what some of those steps are?
Oh, sure, sure. So it started out from the first time I wrote it down and made a masterclass of it, a workshop. It was like online. Of course, it was right before COVID, so had to be online. It was called the 6 Steps to Successful Teaching, and I stuck with that theme. So it's 6 steps of things that you can do to help yourself. Now, I love it because it's a menu. Maybe you're not where I was. Maybe you're not that far deep into where I was, where you're being hospitalized for stress-related illnesses, right? Maybe you just hate your job. Maybe you should just, maybe go through and figure out what you like about your job, and then you can do the first or the second steps. Some of the steps are you like strive to survive. That's the 6 steps. Once you figure out the first 3, then you can do the first 2. And then I have it here. Start with the end in mind. Most of my teachers that I talk to don't even have a goal for their career. Do you know how important that is to know where you want your career to go? I didn't have a clue. I just wanted to teach. So what does that mean? What does that look like? What do you want to teach? Well, I like to teach kids. What kind of kids? What what grade level? Oh, I'd like to teach middle school kids. Oh, okay. Well, what do you like to teach them? I like to teach math. So why aren't you teaching math? Well, because my principal put me in English. It's things like that. And so we get to the heart of that. So start with them in mind. And I make
You
them
know,
write down their map
that's
for their career.
a really like beautiful insight, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
so applicable to like everybody because how
Yeah.
frequently, we go to high school, we go to college, we do all the things that we're supposed to do, we follow that little prescribed path, and then we
Yeah.
end up in this place where we're like, I don't even
How did I
know.
get here?
How did I get
how,
here? I
how did
feel
I
like I
get here? And
lost myself along the
mm-hmm.
way, and I don't even know what I want, but I know that this is not doing it for me.
Yeah, exactly. And so I again, what I think when I had that first epiphany that this is something I could do as a coach is when I would mentor teachers. Okay, because believe it or not, I was the mentor, and I was struggling myself. I was keeping my head right here above water, trying to pull someone else out of the water from drowning. But they would say things like, well, I'm not as bold as you, and I don't always have the right words like you do. And I'm like, sit down and get a pen, write this down. This is what you will say to yourself. This is what you will go to say to your boss. And this is tell them what you want. Explain to them what you want and why you want it. So when I say, steer your own career, that's another step. That means that if you're not in the position that you want to be in, get there. This is how you're going to get there. Make goals for yourself to get there. Talk to the people that are in charge of what you want. And if they can't help you, be prepared to move. Teachers are
Yeah.
everywhere. There's always a vacancy for teachers, and yet teachers are terrified of losing their job. I could lose my job now, tomorrow, and have another job by Monday because there's teaching positions all over the world. You're not limited to anything. The world is your oyster, but they don't see it that way. They see it as, well, I don't want to
Stuck.
make anybody upset. I don't want to upset these people. What if they tell everybody else that I'm being a troublemaker? You're not being a troublemaker by going into your boss's office and saying, hey, I don't really like math. Can I teach English?
Well,
You're
and
not being a troublemaker.
how are they supposed to know what you
Yeah.
want if you don't speak up about it? Like if you're just
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and hide in a corner and do whatever anyone tells me, you're not gonna get to where you want to be. You got to speak
Exactly.
up. They can't read your mind.
Exactly. So I coach them through it. I help them get through those steps together. We do that together. I've coached a dozen or so teachers to the career that they actually want. And if they want to leave teaching, that's okay. I can coach you through that as well. If you're just done, we can help you through that too. Another step is, stretching your skill set. Stretching your skill set just means, I teach math and science. There's never going to be a job that I don't have. I will always have a job because math and science are high needs areas all over the world. They need math and science teachers all over. So what I do is instead of resisting change, I embrace it because every time I embrace change, I learn something new. If I don't learn a new skill or I'm stretching a skill set, I am expanding on the skills that I already have. And that makes me a goat. Greatest of all time. I'm the greatest teacher of all time, right? That makes me a goat. And that makes me more valuable to the in an asset to whoever it is I'm working for. And you can use that as leverage. They don't see it that way, of course. I try to help them see it that way. Every time I get there, they always stick me in that classroom. I said, well, you know what? If they stick you in all those classrooms, learn something from each one class. Write something down that you can learn from, that you can take from each one of those experiences and use it on your resume. Put it in use it in your next interview. Let's say you want to move to another school. So that's something that I teach. And I think we got 3 of them down already. And then I say
That's
things like
awesome.
stick to a system, stay consistent with your style. And the last one, of course, is strive and survive. That we get our summers off, use them. Do not work during the summer. Stop working over Christmas break. Stop taking on extra jobs if you don't have to. Find ways to, get back in touch with your priorities. This is what I just taught in one of my lives last week. If you don't have a set of priorities, you don't have a value system in place, people will impose theirs on you. So how is it that people are stepping on your toes if you're not standing up for yourself? If you're not standing up for you, then people will just go and say, well, Karaleigh, you're not busy on Saturday and you don't have any kids. So if you don't mind coming in on Saturday, right? You will be like, no. Most of us would be like, no, I do mind coming in on Saturday. And no, I don't have a husband. And no, I don't have any kids. But I don't mean I want to come in here on Saturday. Saturdays are for me. I value my time, and my time is my priority. Thank you so much, but no. But people don't say that. My friends and teachers and my clients don't normally say that. They don't want to, again, upset anyone.
Well, they're feeling like
I
they're
haven't
putting
got
someone else out,
I
right?
don't
Well,
care.
if
Oh.
I no, I'm saying that that's
Yeah.
how they're feeling. Like when you're
Yes,
like,
yes, I get
oh,
you. I get you. Yeah.
I guess you're
Oh, I
right. I
guess
don't want to
I'll
put them
do
in, but no,
it. Yeah.
you gotta hold your own, right?
Hmm.
You gotta stand up for you because
Hmm.
no one else is gonna do it for you.
It happens all the time. Well, you're not busy. So, and the kids just love you. That's how they get you. The kids just love you, Miss Kendra. When did you come in on Friday and take them on that field trip? No. The answer is no. So I've graduated from, well, if no one else will do it, I guess I'll do it. To my answer is absolutely no. No, and no is a complete sentence. You don't need a reason. I'm just not doing it. Thank you. You have a great day.
Yes, no is
I'm
a
over it.
sentence.
Over it. Over it. And so,
Yeah, it's that people pleasing that'll really just
mhm.
it'll stress out your whole life. It'll take you down. It'll screw up your health. It'll really just mess you up, because you can't live like that. You cannot survive like that. And so eventually, like, we burn ourselves out enough to realize that something's got to change, and it's that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's some of my mantras. That's what I preach to my clients, and when I'm trying to get potential clients, is that some of our wounds are self-inflicted. And I was I'm a culprit. I am poster child for it. I was doing a lot of that stuff to myself because I didn't know how to say no. And I had a voice, but I didn't use it. I've always had this voice in this mouth, but I wasn't using it. Something as simple as, listen, I can't do Saturday school every single Saturday. I'd like to have at least one Saturday in there where I can catch up on my sleep. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't say it. I just was just trying to drink some more caffeine, get up on Saturday and go and do my job, because I always felt like if I didn't do it, it would reflect poorly on me, and that someone would use it against me in an evaluation or anything like that. I talk about all of those things in my workshops, all of it. Office politics, how to go around
Wow.
it, how to get what you want, how to document things where your successes. That's very important. That way when they try to throw something at you and say, well, you're not a good teacher because, oh, I beg to differ. Here's my receipts right here.
Yeah,
These are when I took the kids here, and this is when I did this. This is when they learned that. Here are my scores. Here's my data. Keep that stuff for yourself. And if you ever have to move around, promise you, it's the best resume you will ever have. It's the best part of your CV, is to
that's
have your own
amazing.
documentation about who you are as a teacher. Don't allow the system or people in a system that don't even like you and don't care anything about you and will replace you if you die, to dictate and give you your worth and your value. You determine whether or not you're dynamite.
Guys, I just wanted to pause here for 1 second to let you know about the awesome thing that I'm doing right now. I'm so excited to announce that I'm offering a custom song experience for a small number of people. This is your chance to take your story, your podcast, or your business even, and turn it into a incredible, timeless work that will bring back beautiful, loving emotions for decades to come. This is such a perfect gift for your spouse, for a newborn baby, or for a parent, and it's a really great way to embody your business or your podcast's mission. We're going to meet together several times and deep dive into the message and emotion you want to convey to make sure that you're getting something that you absolutely adore. A custom song is an incredible asset for advertising, for lifting team spirit, and for encapsulating family memories. If you are interested in a custom song, please email customsongs@KaraleighGarrison.com.
So I tell
Love that.
so my friend just called me from DC and was like, I got a great evaluation. I was like, you know what? I don't even know what mine is. I haven't seen evaluation in 10 years. I could care less what they write about me. I have my own set of values and a whole set of goals that I make for my kids and myself. And if I make those goals, check, 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 I'm doing great. Even if I don't make one, I'm still great. I am exceptional.
Yeah. Well, and the truth of the matter is, like, people will treat you the way that you allow them to. So if
Absolutely.
you if you don't have that self-confidence, if your
Hmm.
self-worth is down on the floor, like, people will walk all over you and they
They
will
absolutely
treat
will.
you as such. But when you own it, and when you really are like, "No, I'm amazing. I am worth this and this and this," people
Yeah.
will treat you as such. Like we
Yeah.
tend to think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Where like you were talking about, like, just doing all the Saturday school, and it's like, oh, they might think bad of me. No, they probably think higher of you when you're like, my time is valuable,
Hmm.
and I'm not going to be the one who's shoved into that thing that no one wants every single week,
Hmm.
you know?
Every single week. It's happening all over the world somewhere. And some teacher somewhere is feeling like they don't have anywhere to go. And not all teachers in all over the world have unions and things like that to fight for them, because that's their fallback. I've worked with a few superintendents where that's their fall. Well, the teachers have a union, but the teachers need a wellness program. They need a voice. They need someone that listens to them and can meet them where they are. So that's why my program and my coaching program and my one-to-ones are perfect, because I'm a teacher and the program is designed by teachers and teachers are helping other teachers. So yeah, I love what I do during the day and after school as well.
That's awesome. Well, and then
Yeah.
as I'm running my own self-care coaching business for
Mhm.
burnt out moms, because I have three special needs kids, and so I've been
Oh,
there,
yes.
right?
Oh,
And
yeah,
so,
you got a full plate.
oh yeah, and so what I see is like you're doing a thing that lights you up that helps you
Yeah.
do the other things that don't light you up as much.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that for a second. Like how does pursuing your, passions that like light your soul on fire, how does that help you throughout
I
the
just
rest of the
it's the
stuff?
noise is just dim. The noise is like volume two now. Whereas 10 years ago, the things that used to bother me and really just keep me up at night and stress me out and have my skin all broken out, that stuff is still happening. I can give you a story probably every single week of something that they're doing that's very stupid at that job. Matter of fact, my phone is going to be ringing tomorrow morning about something that they want us to do over the weekend. I remember last weekend they wanted us to do something by Saturday. They said, "Oh, can you get it done by Saturday?" No, I cannot. When I get there on Monday, I will get it done. Please stop calling me on my weekend. Please stop. Please just stop. And guess what I did last weekend? Absolutely nothing. And I posted it on my Facebook page. Doing nothing is doing something, because sometimes that's the only piece that I get all week, and you're not going to disturb that. So the things that that happen in education, they're still happening. Parents are complaining about you not caring about your kids, or you're doing too much, or you're not doing enough. I either get complaints about I give out too much work, or I don't give enough work. One or the other. They're going to complain about something. I don't take any of it for personally. It all rolls off my back. I try to satisfy them, appease them as much as I can. If they're not happy, I'm so sorry to hear that. You just your problem with me is your problem. There's two problems that you have, not mine and yours, and that has nothing to do with me. So I don't take any of it home. But again, this came with work.
That was
Everyone thinks that I started this way. I absolutely did not. I was the
It takes
people pleaser,
time.
remember? I was the
That
one saying yes to everything. Now
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite. I'm a 180. So, but that took work and that took time. And I enjoy nothing more than helping another teacher or principal or superintendent get to this place where they're like, you know what, y'all are not going to kill me. I'm just going to have to say no to that. I'm just going to decline that and prioritize my life and figure out what's best for me.
Yeah. Well, and
Hmm.
I thought that was absolutely hilarious when you said you have two problems, not mine and yours. I
Hmm.
think that is just the best because the real truth of it is that like people, my favorite quote comes from Frozen. People make bad choices when they're mad or scared or stressed, and so like
Hmm.
your problems are your problems. Like if you are mad and scared and stressed, it's not because I caused it. It's because you've got something going on that's making you feel that way, right? Are you taking care
Yeah.
of yourself? Are you doing your self-care? Are you doing all the stuff you need to do to take care of you? Because
Yeah.
if you were, you probably wouldn't be acting that way towards me.
Exactly.
Right. And
Exactly.
then I
And
can look
then,
at my behavior and be like, oh, am I acting out because I didn't take care of myself this week? And so that's
hmm
why, self-care is so essential because it
hmm
changes how we treat the people around us. And so
it changes your brain activity.
yeah. And
Your
so
brain waves are different.
yeah, so prioritizing your rest
Hmm.
and your peace, whenever you have that opportunity, that just makes you a better teacher to
Hmm.
all of those kids. Like that just helps you show up more patient and rested and clear-headed, right? When you do show
I
up.
think so.
Absolutely. It's totally
I
the
think so.
truth. Because the stressed out teachers who never have any time for self-care are not the
Hmm.
ones who are showing up as their best selves.
No, no. But that, what's really sad is that it's celebrated as,
Yeah.
they're celebrated.
Yeah.
Oh, she just had open heart surgery, but she's here. Let's give her. That's not cute to me. That is
Um,
absolutely just ridiculous. I've had to yell at some teachers. I've gotten really indignant with some teachers during COVID, and they were sick and still trying to work. And I was like, if you don't put that phone down and close that computer and let it go, those kids will be just fine. And
Oh, well,
whatever
and
they
those
don't learn, it won't be your fault. It's okay. It's
well, and
okay.
the
Put
and
that
those
computer down.
poor women who get pregnant and have babies, and it's like, oh, I should be able to work my whole pregnancy. I shouldn't have any problems with that. And it's like I'm in the middle. My son's teacher, and again, I have three special needs kids, so my most severe and his teacher who's been with him for 2 years and we just love her to
Yeah.
death, and she's having to step away because she's been having pregnancy complications, and she had said to me
Hmm.
the other day of like, most women can just work through their whole pregnancy, and I'm going, no, 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 no,
No.
no. no, you have to take care of you. The kids will be
Exactly.
fine. I mean,
But
my son,
they will be fine. They're very
yeah.
resilient. They're very
Mhm.
resilient. And so a lot of that was conditioning back in the US. Just a
Yeah.
lot of that, the educational system and the system of corporate America, all of those things are mixed together. Because I used to think, corporate America is different from education. It's not. If you miss a day, people give you the stink eye because you missed a day. And then you come back refreshed, but it's like, oh, where you been? They think you're not a good person because you take a day off or a me day or a mental health day. I used to call them mental health days. But if I don't do that, you won't like me either way because I'm not going to be pleasant to you. I'm going to lose my pleasing personality if I don't take a day off, from, being stressed and overwhelmed all the time. But I've had conversations with teachers who have had, like the most horrific types of medical issues. And I just got to get back to these kids. No, you don't. You really don't. I promise you, you don't. If the doctor says take 6 weeks off, take 8. Seriously. I mean, they'll be fine. And they're just so concerned. I'm like, they're not your kids. I don't know if they know that or not. They're not mine. They have mothers, they have fathers, they have other people in their life that are responsible for them and their education. And watch this, the kids are responsible for their own education. And when you like kind of delegate all of that instead of putting all this pressure on yourself to be everything that they need. Well, if I'm not everything that I need, what if I'm not everything that I need? If I'm not 100%, I can't give it to you. I can't pour from an empty cup. So where do I go to get to fill up my cup? I go, well, to the refrigerator. But yeah, I go to the well of happiness. And the I live in Abu Dhabi. You can't see out here, but there's water out here. There's a beach right out there, right downstairs. I can go for a walk whenever I want. I call them mind naps. It's in the book. I call them mind naps, where I just close my eyes. I take a nap. Literally, I count, take deep breaths, and just reset my heart. So
Ooh,
my
and
heart is
it's
not palpitating.
so important to like have that just like mind break, that silence for a few minutes, like that,
Just a few minutes.
especially when you're like surrounded by kids.
Mm.
Like that
All
is
day
noise
yelling.
and chaos, and it just doesn't stop. I have
Bag
a
of cats.
I have a severely autistic. My son Joshua was just like that. He's severely autistic and
Yeah.
semi-verbal, and right now he talks all the time. Like he does not ever stop. He is in my face saying the same thing to me over and over and
Over
over
and
and
over
over
and
and over
over.
and over
Yeah.
again. And so it's not quite the same as having, 30 kids at once all talking all the time. But like
It
you
is.
have to have that mental peace for just a few
Mhm.
minutes. Like it will make an absolute world of a difference in your life.
Yeah. I love
But
it. I love what I do. And I know it's a little woo woo in my workshops. It's usually the men. Women are okay with it, but it's hard to sometimes push that rock uphill trying to teach them that this. I promise you, this is cheaper than Tylenol. If you learn how to do it and take care of yourself and take care of your mind and get your triggers together. My trigger sometimes is I don't eat or I don't drink enough water, something like that. If I figure out my triggers, oh, let me go drink some water, get done. You take some deep breaths, and then my headache goes away. Isn't that a little bit better than just popping pills every time you get sick or
well,
popping
and
pills
they
every
have
time you
so
get a
many
headache?
side effects.
Yeah.
Like it's
So
not
it's
it's
like,
not good for you.
yeah, healthcare, self-care is healthcare. It takes the
Yeah.
place of healthcare. It's so much easier just to learn some yoga poses or deep breathing or meditation than it is to go to the doctor for everything. That was me. I was going to the doctor for everything. And it was first off costing me a lot of money. Second, it was just like, what does all of this mean? It's me. It's coming from the wheelhouse of me. It's not outside that is responsible for what's going on with me on the inside. And once my teachers and my clients connect those dots, then they know that they can get the help that they need, and then they're on their way. They're on their way. I have to go track them down sometimes and get testimonies, but they're on there. They get it. They
Yeah,
get it.
absolutely. So tell us about your second book. What's going on in that one? And it's
Oh,
out,
that
right?
one is behind. That was my first book. This is my second. My first book is Fat Meat Ain't Greasy. I can't reach it, but it's back there. It's my memoirs. So you asked me, tell me about yourself. Okay, well that's a loaded question. So I started with my career. That book is actually about my personal life. My personal journey started with being a teenage mother at 14. I had my baby at 14 years
Wow.
old, and that was, the first real eye-opening experience that I had with failure and experiencing, being damaged from, low self-esteem and being completely traumatized by um, humiliation on the next level, like your own family members just laugh at you and make you the butt of their jokes. And so I was written off by my family. I was never supposed to graduate high school check. And when I announced that I was going to college, no one had ever done that in my family. And then I had a baby too. They were like, whatever, check. I did that as well. And so when I was in college, I would take her to school with me. I'd take her to college with me. If I
I
didn't
did
have a
that.
babysitter, I would take her. I'd say, "Here, get your backpack," and she'd be in the back of the study hall, and I'd be in the front studying. When we were done, she would do her homework, and I do my homework in the library,
I did
and
that.
I would
I
take
took
her with me. And I talk about that journey because I have the baby at 14, and they had written me off, and I remember being in the hospital thinking um that I was going to commit suicide. I was definitely going to do that. I didn't want to be this child's mother, and I felt like this child deserved a better mother than me because I was too stupid to be this child's mother. So I had planned on killing myself when I left the hospital, and that she could be raised by, an aunt or a cousin or someone else. But in the hospital, I have this epiphany where, and I talk about it in the book, first two chapters, where they came in to see me, and it was almost like a funeral. Instead of it being a joyous occasion, it was like a funeral. And I was sitting there in my coffin, and except I'm alive and I can hear. And everybody was smiling, but it was like, oh, everybody felt sorry for me. And there was a sense of pity and woe, and how did she get herself into this, and how is she going to get herself out? She's never going to be anything. Da da da. They had written me off, and I could tell, I could sense it. And my aunt, who was always could be counted upon to be the one that said what everybody was thinking, and she was that aunt that just couldn't keep her mouth closed. So she was walking out of the room, and I heard her tell my family, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. And something happened to me in that moment where I was like, see, you know what? I was angry.
no.
I was
Like,
furious. I was upset.
no.
So I'm 14 years old with a baby, and I'm like, you know what? I'm mm, whatever she thinks I'm never going to be, I'm going to be that. And whatever she thinks I'm never going to have, I'm going to have that and then some. I'm going to show you. And so I looked down at my baby, and I was like, you know what? We got work to do. And that was the moment I said, I'm not going to kill myself because me and Miss Baby going to make it. And so I put myself through college. I became a teacher, went back to college, put her through college. And she now, as she graduated summa cum laude from Tuskegee University, where she was recruited by NASA, and she still works for NASA to this day.
That's
And so
amazing.
everybody wants to know, well, how did we get from here to there? Well, that's that book. So I talk about all the journeys and all the things that had to happen for me to get her to that point. And she looks at me as the hero, and I look at her as a hero. I say, you're my biggest accomplishment. She looks at me like, but mom, you traveled the world, and you do all these great things, and you've written books, and so we are each other's hero. But
That's
that
amazing.
journey was not easy. And so I had to write it down because I got tired of people asking me, actually. So I wrote it down so people can know that it was a struggle. I sacrificed a lot to get her there and to get me there. And I knew that I had to be the example for her. Eagles have to fly. Eagles have to push their babies out of the nest, but the eagles have to fly as well. I have to be the hunter and the alpha. And so in order
That
for me to get there, to get her there, I had to be that. So that's another reason why I'm glad she went to school with me so she could see her mother studying and being on the grind and getting the things that I want. So watch me and you do it too. And so that's why she has a master's degree as well. And that's why she is as ambitious as she is. So
that is an amazing story. Oh my gosh. And I want to talk for a second about like that moment of
yeah,
like here's somebody saying something awful. It felt like a funeral and here she is saying, "Oh, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen." And you're like, that awful thing was the spark of sunshine for you. It was the
yeah,
thing that changed your life,
yep,
right? And it's
absolutely.
like how like that's what we talk about in Seeking Sunshine is like how do you find the beauty in the pain? And it's like there it is,
Mm-hmm.
clear as day, as like this thing that should have been devastating turned your whole life around
Yeah,
because you were
yeah,
so determined to prove her wrong. And that's
yeah,
amazing. And that shows like how much strength that you had and that you
Hmm.
have, and it's just, it's a beautiful example to everyone of like, no matter how hard it is, there's always something that you can find that has beauty in it, in your circumstance.
Oh yeah, there's beauty in those ashes. And I
Right.
said all the time how, when people write you off and when they underestimate you and when you're misunderstood, you revel in it. You smile and because you can, man, I always say that I'm going to be great when you're not looking because they're not looking for you to be great. I was a teenage mother and no one in my family had ever gone to college. I was the first one to graduate college. So, the things like that, it's like, that was just the beginning.
Oh
That
yeah.
was just the beginning. And I told them that and they didn't believe, they laughed at me, of course.
Yeah.
They laughed at me, of course. I was like, and even when coming here, of course, I don't know. What are you thinking? What do you think? You don't know anything about that. Da, 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 da. I'm like, I'll figure it out. I will jump
Yeah.
out this plane and figure out how to put that parachute together on my way out.
Mhm.
Watch me and watch me do well. And I've been here, what,
Yes.
8 years now? 8 years?
Yes. I love that. I love it so much. And I could see like how, like, I could see that reflected in my own life. Like, I have three special needs kids, and I felt, for so long, like everything I ever wanted, oh, it's all impossible now. Like,
Yeah,
this whole motherhood thing, like, that gets to be my whole life. I get nothing else anymore. And for so long, that kept me so down. And it took me 12 years to get my college degree, but I did finally get it a couple years ago with my three with my three disabled kids, and
yeah,
my spouse has been disabled for a decade, and all the things, and it was like, how do I graduate from college? How do I do everything I want to do
yeah,
and just do it anyway? And it's like,
yeah,
doesn't matter like what is thrown at you, make your own way, make your
yeah.
own path. You don't have to have some great example of someone who's done it before. You might be,
No, no, no. I
yeah,
didn't have anybody.
mhm, it's
Yeah,
possible to just do it anyways. Do
yeah.
it
We're
scared, do it
pilgrims.
however you have to do it, but go do it because it's
Hmm.
possible. There's nothing that's
Absolutely.
impossible. And so I love that.
And
So
we
this,
we are living proof of that.
yes.
Hmm.
This has been amazing. Your story is
Yes.
incredible. I'm absolutely so excited to go check out your books.
Yeah.
And I hope that everyone else will go read them and go buy
Yeah.
them, and I'll put them in the show notes so that everyone can do that. How else can we follow you and find you in places if anyone's looking for a coach or anything like that?
You can find me on my website, www.iamkendria.com. And that's all one. There's no, slashes or dots in the middle. iamkendria.com. And just send me an email, shoot me an email. That way you can get on my mail list and you can find out where I'll be speaking, where I'll be doing my summits. I have tons of, I don't want to say tons, but I do about 2 or 3 summits per month. I'll be in
That
Paris,
sounds
I
like a
think, in
ton.
March speaking. It's not, but I've done 12, done 12 since the book is out. So, and then I do, of course, interviews like with wonderful people like yourself, Karaleigh. I do those quite often. But then now I'll be doing my own interviews and interviewing other people with my TV show. So I'll be on Roku, Apple, Comcast, and some other streaming networks pretty soon
Yeah,
here.
tell us
We'll be
more about
rolling that
that
out.
real
Hmm.
quick. How did that come about? What is it going to be about, the TV show?
It's these teeth. I'm telling you, Caroline, it's these teeth. Every time I throw that show, these teeth, they like, well, you have such amazing smile. I just love when you just want to get to know you. So I was in an interview. I was in an interview and she was like, your face belongs on TV. I'm gonna get you in touch with the producer. She needs some people. She needs people. She needs producers. She's starting her new thing. And I was like, okay, all right. So that fell into my lap. I was not looking for it. It fell into my lap.
That's
And I was
amazing.
just being interviewed by someone, and she was like, "Your face you have such a presence." I said, "I yell at kids all day. That's my job. I yell at children. So being vocal is not an issue for me. It's not an issue. Speaking is not a
Can't hear
problem for
that.
me. Not a problem. All day.
Oh, well,
Sit
I'm
down, be quiet.
so
No, you
excited
cannot.
for,
No, you can't do that. No, that's my day. No, no, no. Put that down. Why is it sticky? Why is there water on the floor? Pick it up. No, no, that's my day. Then
yep.
I start teaching.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That, yep. Don't
All
hit
day.
him. Don't spit on
Yeah,
her.
stop it. Yes,
Don't.
I know. I know.
Not right
Yeah,
now. Not right
she's not
now.
your friend. Yeah, I got it. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I
this is,
love them. I do. They drive me crazy, but I love them.
yeah. This has been amazing. Good. What else? As we wrap up, do you have any
Yeah.
final words of wisdom?
Oh, so many things. So many things. I would say that you should have your priorities in check all the time. Do not wait for someone to give them to you, and don't wait for someone to take them away from you. When someone asks you, what are your three priorities, Karaleigh, you should be able to mouth them off really fast. Mine is my time, my money, and my children. Those are my three priorities,
I
right?
love
It
that.
should be
That's
God,
amazing.
family, and you. You should know it right off the bat. If you don't have that in check, if that's not something that's always constantly in the back of your mind, then the world will impede on all of them. They will take your priorities, they will take your time, they will take your money, they will take time away from your children because you don't know what you need. You don't know what you want. You don't have it in for. It is you. You are responsible for the journey that has been given to you. The time has been given to everybody. We all have the same measure of it. But what you do with it is up to you. So keep your values close to your heart. Know your priorities, and most of all, know your worth.
Yes. I love that. That is an amazing piece of advice. And I hope that everyone will come to your show when it comes out and read your books
Yeah.
and follow you, because this has been so incredible, so inspirational. Thank you
Yeah.
again for coming on to the Seeking Sunshine podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I was able to spread some sunshine.
You absolutely were. It was totally an honor to hear your story, and you've just been you've been an inspiration to so many people, and I'm glad that you get to be an inspiration to my audience too
I hope
now.
so. Inshallah.
Absolutely.
Inshallah.
All right. Well,
Yes.
I hope you have a really beautiful day. Thank you again.
Thank you, Carolee. Everyone have a great, wonderful day. Be exceptional.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Oh man, this is one of those episodes that I had such a hard time narrowing down what my favorite pieces were, because every single part, I just kept like writing them all down. Every word she said, I was like, that's gold, that's gold, that's gold. I want to keep all of it. I want to take every word she says and plaster it all over my walls. That's how good this was. I loved every single word. Thank you so much, Kendria. So much amazingness here in this episode. So here are the 7 favorite takeaways, the ones I was able to narrow it down to. So much goodness in here. If you are like me, you're going to go back and listen to this over and over and over again. Please share this. Share it with your favorite teacher. Share it with the teachers that you know who need this, because come on, you know that there are teachers in your life that need to hear this information. There is somebody that you know who is feeling burnt out, who is feeling like they are unappreciated, and like somebody you know that is not standing up for themselves as much as they need to. Somebody who needs to just borrow some of Kendria's strength, because she has it in spades, and we all need a little bit more of that. So anyways, here are my favorite takeaways. Number 1, the truth of the matter is people will treat you the way you allow them to. If you don't have that self-confidence, if you don't have that self-confidence, if your self-worth is down on the floor, people will walk all over you and they will treat you as such. Number 2, doing nothing is doing something. Sometimes that's the only peace I get all week, and you are not going to disturb that. Number 3, your problem with me is your problem. There are 2 problems that you have, not mine and yours, and it has nothing to do with me. Guys, I listened to that line like 26 times. It was my favorite thing, and I needed it, and it fed my freaking soul. Your problem with me is your problem. There are 2 problems that you have with me, not mine and yours. What? I laughed my face off every time she said that, because it was like smack in the face. It was just, I just needed it. I needed it. We all, oh, sorry guys, my throat's killing me, but it's like we all take on each other's problems. We take on the problems that other people have with us way too often, and it's not okay. Like, let other people's issues be their issues, and let's not take them on as our own. All right, number 4, instead of resisting change, I embrace it, because every time I embrace change, I learn something new. Number 5, make your own way. Make your own path. You don't have to have some great example of someone who's done it before. It's possible to just do it anyway. Do it scared. Do it however you have to do it, but go do it, because it's possible. Number 6, you should have your priorities in check all the time. Do not wait for someone to give them to you, and don't wait for someone to take them away from you. If you don't have that in check, if that's not always on the back of your mind, then the world will impede on all of them. Number 7, you are responsible for the journey that has been given to you. Time has been given to everybody. We have all been given the same measure of it, but what you do with it is up to you. So keep your values close to your heart, know your priorities, and most importantly, know your worth. Know your worth, guys. Know your worth. I said it in my last episode. If there's one thing that I could change about the world, it is that I wish everyone knew their worth. I wish everyone knew their value. And bam, like Kendria says it so perfectly. Know your priorities and know your worth. It's so important and it's so true. And I just love Kendria so much. She is such a light in this world. Find more from her on her website, iamkendria.com. I do believe that it is under construction right now, but I'm going to link it in the show notes. There is another place you can find her. It is like I don't know. I'm going to link it in the show notes. I swear, if you want to go find her, definitely go look in the show notes for whatever that is, because it's the place where she shares her stuff. But hopefully her website will be back up soon. And then her 2 books, which are incredible. They're both available on Amazon. Her memoir is Fat Meat Ain't Greasy, and her other book is Teacher of the Year. I looked them up. They're both on Amazon. And then keep your eyes open, because she's gonna have a TV show coming out soon, and that is gonna blow the world away. It's gonna be incredible. I'm so excited for everything she's gonna do. She's like a bomb about to explode in this world. She's so amazing. So thank you again, Kendria. I just love this episode. Anyway, so last but not least, as we wrap up, don't forget to visit my website, KaraleighGarrison.com. I've been working hard to get it updated. You can learn more about my keynote concerts, which is where I speak and sing together. Custom songs. I love writing custom songs for people. And then, let's see, you can check out the shop. I just updated the shop. You can find a lot of really cute prints and journals and bookmarks and what else? I don't know. There's all sorts of cute little things in there, which are quotes and sayings. I don't know. They're really cute. You gotta go check them out. And then if you want to get a snippet of sunshine in your email box every day from me, you can send an email to Karaleigh at KaraleighGarrison.com, and you'll get this really cute little quote every day in your email box that will brighten up your day and will bring you a daily dose of positivity. So that is what's going on with me before we wrap up. And I just want to say really fast that I hope that you are having a beautiful sunshiny day. I know that life is hard sometimes. Trust me, I really do. And as I have spent the last several days like in silent mode and like just on talking time out for myself as a mom, that's a hard thing to do. And as somebody who loves to talk, that's a hard thing to do. But I'm seeking sunshine everywhere I go, and so I'm looking for the beauty in it. And the beauty that I have found in it is that it's a chance to rest, and it's a chance to observe more than talk. Because I do talk a lot. I do. I'm guilty of it. And so, yeah, whatever it is that you have that's going on in your life, there's sunshine in it somewhere. Even if it's pain, even if it's silence. Like, find something about it that's beautiful and focus on the beauty in it. And the more that you focus on the positivity, the more that you're going to find in your life that's positive. Like, that's how it works. I promise you, That's how it works. The more you focus on the sunshine, the more sunshine that you see. And we all want more sunshine in our lives, right? So do that. Focus on the sunshine, seek the sunshine, and then you're going to find that your life is brighter, that your life's more beautiful, more full of sunshine and rainbows, and you won't even notice the darkness as much. So that's what I want to leave you with. Have an absolutely beautiful day, and we're going to end with a song. Bye.